Hello guys, again welcome to the very implementation part of the video. So in the last video, just a quick recap, we have covered about the entire theory of the basic Python libraries, okay, the pandas and the other basic details, the basic use cases of Python languages. Okay, we have studied about the introduction to Python programming language and other things. Now today we are supposed to see the implementation part of it. Okay, so I will be typing the code in front of you so that you would also able to understand these part. Okay, so if you want to type with me, okay, if you go along with this video by typing by yourself by watching the video, then you can also do that. That is the best way of learning the things. So I would urge you to please go to Google Colab. Okay, so Google Colab is an environment where you can just create a new notebook, and once you are able to get the new notebook, then what you need to do is that you just need to connect it to the instance, and then you are supposed to code it with me. Okay, now let's come back to the code. So this is how the Google Colab looks like. Okay, this is the online cloud interpreter provided by the Google Cloud instance. You will be getting some set of a RAM and disk, and then you write your Python code here. Okay, in this video lecture we have divided this video lecture in the variables and basic types, the strings, list, tuples, dictionary, all these things that we have discussed, right? So let's see that whether all these things are okay. Now let's understand about the first thing, which is variables and basic type. Okay, so in this we have discussed about all these things into the theory lecture. Now let's try to declare some variable. Okay, so this is the age variable, and this is the height, this is the name. Okay, just type shift and enter, okay, to execute the cell. Okay, these are the cell where you will be executing your code, okay, by writing it into the Python language. Simple. Now this is the type. So type of the variable age is integer, the type of height is float, the type of name is string, right? And this is the boolean type, right? So if I just go and type like the false here, so false is also a type boolean, right? So it should also give me the type as a boolean. Okay, type is a inbuilt function in Python, right? I hope you're able to get it. So let me increase the font size. Now let's print something. Okay, so this is a print function. So if you want to print something, just type print, and this is your Python, right, implementation lecture. Okay, this is the normal print. And if you want to attach some variable to it, just assign something. So let's say if you want to attach some variable as language, right, and inside the language if you want to attach something as Python, right? So this is your variable, and if you want to attach it here, you can attach it by using the comma and just write the variable name. Okay, so if you want to print something like I am learning the language, that's it. And this you need to give your variable name. So what is the variable name? Language, right? So just give it. So you are supposed to get these kind of a print statement, right? This is the output of your print statement. Similarly, the age is also a variable. So inside this double column, you're supposed to write what you want as an output from the print statement, right? Similarly, height, name, and the other part as well. Okay, so I think these are the very basic details. So I don't think that there would be any issue. Now let's do the multiple assignment. Okay, so what is the next topic? Next topic is like like assigning the multiple variable, like the multiple value to the multiple variable. Okay, so as you can see that I could have also passed it here. So I could have also passed x is equals to 10, then again execute, then y is equals to you know 20.5, then again execute. But let's say this is how my x assigned value, this is my y assigned value, but I can also do it in a one single line. So this is how you do the multiple assigned thing, right, in your one cell in your Python language, right? And you want to print it. Okay, so let's move into the third part, which is like the variable swap, right? Swapping the variables. So now what is the variable swap? As you can see that in the one single line I am giving the value 5 to a and 10 to b, right? So a is containing the 5, b is containing 10. Now you want to swap it, right? So you can just swap it by changing the variable name, and now your b is containing 5 and a is containing 10. Okay, now let's understand the modern f string. F string is what? Formatted string. Okay, so let's say that these are the variables that you have defined. Okay, and suppose that if I going to write this print statement as that I am living in the city, right? In the city and it has the temperature is around. If I just going to write these things, I will be printing these things, and these formatted string are dead because I am not passing any, I am not assigning this variable, right? Though I am just assigning the variable name, but I'm not able to print it, right? So how do I print it? Just apply the formatted string here, and these things are alive. Okay, so now your variable has been alive, and then you can able to print it. So now you can see that instead of city, it substitute the Bangalore name. Okay, and then instead of temperature, it substitute the your value assigned to your temperature variable. Okay, just like this you can able to do that thing. Now let's do the type conversion. Okay, what is type conversion? So type conversion is that, suppose this is of type string. Okay, so if I just going to type of s, so this is of string type, right? And suppose, but it is actually number. So if you want to convert this string into a number, just use these things. So what I mean to say is that, let's say that my s is a string. Okay, and if I want to add some number, I won't able to add it. Okay, I am getting the error. Why I'm getting the error? Because it is a string type, x is a string type and 10 is the integer, so both should belong to the same type, right? That is why I need to convert first the s to int. Okay, so now my s has been converted to integer, and now if I do the same thing like s plus 10, s plus 20, anything like that, I would able to get the result, right? So in this way, this type conversion work, converting the data type from the one data type to the another data type, right? Now let's move into the string part. So we have done about the basic variable and the basic types, okay, in Python language. So we have understood about these things. Now let's understand about the string part, okay, that how to apply the string operation in Python language, right? So how do you define the string, guys? How do you define the strings? So let's say one string as something as my details, right? So let's say my details, right? So I am just going to assign that this is me teaching data science, right? So this is my string. Okay, if I just going to confirm it, I can just use the type and then my details, right? So yes, these things, and now it is supposed to give me the string. So this is how you define your string. Okay, similarly this is your greeting string. Okay, you want to greet something, right? So this is how your greeting string work, and this is the type of the greeting string. Now let's apply the operation that we are supposed to apply in this string. Okay, the first is concatenation and repetition. What does that mean? Okay, so what does this concatenation? It means that attaching the two strings. So let's say that I have the string, let's say I have let me define some string, right? So I have the string one has hello, how are you, right? So let's say this is one, let me rename it, right? Let me use the question string. Okay, let someone has asked the question, I have stored this thing. Okay, now let me store the answer, I am good. These are the two string, right? And suppose if I want to attach these two strings, so let's say store it in final string, so I can just attach this question plus answer, that's it. And if I'm going to print it, I can able to print it that hello, how are you, I am good. Okay, so these things you are able to do it by using the plus operation, which is your concatenation operation. Okay, now what is the other thing? Repetition. What is the repetition tell you? Okay, repetition means that you want to repeat something. So let's say that I want to repeat the answer 3 times. Okay, so this is my answer and I want to repeat it 3 times. So what I need to do, I just going to call this answer and then this multiplication operator and then 3. So this I am good, I am good, I am good. Okay, so this is how this concatenation and repetition operation works, right? And this is how the same example works and follow up the same thing. Okay, if you want to repeat that hi 4 times, you can repeat it and later print it, right? Now this part is done. Now let's understand about the multi-line string. Okay, what is the multi-line string? So you are defining the string into a one single line, right? Now suppose that if I ask you that can you define the string in a multi-line, the answer is yes, you can define the string in the multi-line. So what I mean to say, what I mean to say is, let's say that I have some valid string. Okay, so some string like again my intro. Okay, if I just define these things into a one multiple line by just doing this single column, it's not going to work. What does that mean? It means that let's say that hello, my name is Aryan, and the next row, as you can see that this is the error I am getting, right? So let's say I am teaching, and I will be getting the error. Why? Because this one single column has to apply in a one single line. That is why you define the multiple string defining in a multiple line by using this three doc string. This is called a doc string. Okay, so if you're just going to use these things, you would able to print the message line after line. Okay, so similarly, in order to rectify these things, what are the other things that I need to know? I just need to like use the three column, that's it, 1 2 3, and then hello, and then use other line as well, right? Hello, my name is Aryan, okay, I am teaching, and then just close it with the same thing. Okay, and you are not getting any error. Okay, if you want to just show it, you can show it here, right? So in this way you are supposed to get these things, right? So now let's understand about the other things, which is the escape character. So we are still in the string part. So let's understand this escape character. What does the escape character do, right? So escape character, it means that suppose you are printing something. Okay, suppose you are printing something like line number 1, line number 2, right? What is this slash and? Slash and has not been printed. Why? Because slash and is actually containing some special meaning. So this slash and, right? So what does it do? It actually contains some special meaning. What does that meaning mean, right? So meaning, right? What does this mean? It means that slash and is the next line. Okay, so I will write here. So it means that it follows the pointer, or let's say it throws the pointer to the next line. It throws the pointer to the next line. Okay, so what I mean to say is I will print something. So let's say print hello, and then if I just go and apply this slash backslash n, and then I will write your name Rn. If I just going to print it, so hello will be printed first, then this is the next line, and then I will go and start printing into the next line. Okay, similarly there is something called a slash t, so backslash t. So this is supposed to give you the tab delimiter, or let's say one tab space. That's it, one tab space. Okay, so if I just going to print it, how am I going to print it? Let's say hello learners, right? So hello, then slash t, and then learners. So as you can see that there is, because I have used this special character, so I am actually in the same line but with the one tab space. Okay, so this is how these things works, right? Now let's move into the other things, which is like the common string method. Okay, so what are the common string methods? So these are the common string methods. So let's say that you have defined some string, right? So let me show you something. So let's say my string, hello my lovely user. Okay, this is, let's say, my string, right? And over on top of this string variable, I just press dot in your keyboard and you are going to get so many things. Okay, you can use it by yourself. So I'm just using 2 or 3 things, but you can use so many other things, see the documentation. Okay, you are going to get other things as well. So these are the functions related to this one single string. Okay, so let's say that if I just want to let me use something else, right? So let me use this is upper. Okay, what does this is upper going to do? Is upper is going to tell that whether the entire string is written in a capital or not. Okay, if one of the letter is written in a not capital letter, then it is supposed to give you the false. Similarly, you have the other thing as well, like for example, if I just going to apply this my string, so my string, right? So my string dot let's say upper. Okay, upper, so it is supposed to choose my string. This is my string. If I supposed to apply this upper, so what it will do is that it will convert each and every letter into the capital letter. Okay, similarly s dot lower is supposed to give you into the lower letter. S dot title is supposed to give you that the starting word of each letter is the capital letter. So this is how you are supposed to follow all these things. Okay, and these things are very simple. Now what are the other things? Split and join. Okay, what does this split and join is going to tell you about? So split means like breaking the strings or anything, right? So let me show you what does that mean. So let's say that or I have the example here. Okay, so let me just go. I have that one text here. Okay, I have a text one, and I want to split it wherever I see the one single space. Okay, so that is why I'm just giving it here. And if I just going to execute these things, so you will see that the entire thing has been split into the list of each element. Okay, similarly, let's say that there is a text2 here. Okay, and if I want to split wherever I see a comma, I can just use the split operation, and it would able to split wherever I approach this comma. It is going to split that thing. It is going to split it and then save it into the list. Okay, so this is how these things are work. And then if you want to apply this join operation, so what does this join will do? So join that this is your text one, and if you want to join this some special character, or let's say something like this one, at the every letter of the word follow up with the join operation, so it will going to give you the output like this. Okay, so this is how this join will work. Okay, so this is how this splits and join will work like, right? Okay, let me tell you one more thing, right? Okay, so what is replace, find and count? Okay, so let's say that you have a text. Okay, you have saved your text in the text variable, and if you want to replace the Python word with some other word, so you can just use the text dot replace. Replace is another method for your, let's say, string type. Okay, where you choose your word and which word you want to replace with, right? Similarly, if you want to see that wherever, like, what is the index of this word, it is supposed to give you the index of this word by using the find method. Okay, it is already a predefined library, right? Similarly, if you want to find out that how many occurrences of this Python word has been happened in this entire text, then just use the text dot count and you are supposed to get each and everything, right? Similarly, let's say this is my text. Okay, and if I want to replace the Python with the word Java, it will able to replace my Python word with the Java, right? Similarly, if I see that if I want to find out the index of language, I can just use the text dot find operation. What is present in the inside my text? My entire letter. Okay, my entire sentence. And if I want to find out that where this language is containing, what is the index of language, so it is the 24. Okay, in this way you are able to do these things. Similarly for count operation as well, right? Now, what is this string slicing and reverse operation? Again, I have done, like I have told you in the theory as well, that if you want to do a slicing operation, you can do. If you want to slice only the 0th index as well as the 10th index, you can able to do these things. Okay, so this is just a string slicing operation. Now let's move into the another set of topic, which is the list. Okay, this is the implementation of list part. Okay, that how does list is going to go. So list is like, first of all, you will be creating a list, right? This is how you create a list, and you put some numbers inside this. You can create a mixed list as well by creating so many other things as well. Okay, because list is very flexible, you can put anything of any different data types. List does not discriminate, right? And then if you're going to print it, you can print it like, let's say that if you this is your numbers, right? So this is how your numbers looks like. Okay, similarly this is your mixed list. Okay, so it can have so many other value, right? And a list of list and other things, right? Similarly you can able to print it. Okay, let me create another list. So let me create new list. Okay, let me create a new list, and if you want to print, let's say rn, then let's say list of lists, so 1 2, and then let's say hello world. Okay, and then it may also contain some like new thing, let's say Python. Okay, it contains some numbers, right? In this way you are able to get the entire list. Okay, so new list. If you want to print the length of the list, just try to apply the len length function. Okay, it is also a pre-built function. So if you just go and find this one, you are able to get that the length of the list is 4, which means that it is 0. This entire should come under the 1. So this is 0 1 2 3, I mean like 1 2 3 4. Okay, and what is the index? 0 1 2 3. Okay, in this way. Now suppose if you want to find out the index, so let's say that this is your number list, right? So numbers, right? So this is how you have defined your list in the very early, right? And if you want to fetch the first element, if you want to fetch the second element, if you want to fetch the last element, starting from right to left, you can able to do that thing. Okay, starting it from the -1. So from right to left, it has to be -1 index, right? Similarly, slicing operation, it also works here in the same case, right? So what is this slicing operation work? It means that I am fetching the word from index 1 to the index 4. It means that it will able to fetch the word from 0 from 1 to 3. Okay, so let's say 2 3 and 4 is going to come out. Okay, similarly this one, and similarly this one. So this is like the jumping operation. Okay, that you want to jump something from this is the starting of the list, this is the ending of the list, and then you try to jump. So let's say if you started from 1, so if you're not specifying anything here, it means that it has started from 0, right? So this is like 1, and then take a jump 1 2 3. Okay, what is the 4? So 4 here, because you have taken the jump here. So now what will be printed? It will be printed the element as 1 and the 4. Okay, similarly, if you want to like store something, so this is the storage list. Okay, you can create any other list. You try to like store some name, gender, and age. If you want to append something, you can append. You want to add something into the list, and this is how your added list looks like, right? If you want to extend your list by some other list, you can just use the storage.extend, put some other list, and then try to append it. Okay, append one list to other list, and this is how your entire list looks like. Okay, so earlier the list was this. Now you have extended this list by attaching some other list, and now this is your entire storage list looks like, right? Similarly, if you want to insert some value to index, let's say 0 1, so instead of gender you want to like replace the gender with sex, you can do that thing, right? So this is how it looks like. Then the other thing is pop, remove, and clear. Pop is for like draining out some element from the list, right? So this is how it has like deleted the last element. Okay, so my storage is containing the complete location. Now just applying the storage.pop, it has deleted my last location, and now this is how it looks like, right? So just 1 second, let me just try to run it one more time. So this one, and so for executing this again, I'm telling I'm just entering the shift and return. Okay, for Mac user, shift and return. For Windows user, shift and enter. Just press shift and enter, and you're supposed to like execute entire thing, right? So this is how your list looks like. And if you want to remove some element from the list, just use the storage dot remove method and specify the element name. That's it. So it will going to remove the element from the list, and this is how your final list looks like. Okay, and what is this shorted and unshorted? So shorted and unshorted, let's say that if you define the list and this list is very unshorted, if you want to short it into the ascending order, you can able to do that thing, and everything will be shorted, right? So let's start with tuples. Okay, how do you define a tuple? So you are actually defining a tuple in this way. So I may missed out in my theory lecture, but it's fine. It's very easy. So this is how, just like list, you define the tuple like this. Okay, so let's say if you want to define the tuple as tuple1, tuple tuple1, and then this close the small parenthesis. That's it. Okay, so this is the small parenthesis. This is how you define the tuple. This is how you input some element in a tuple, and this is how you just take out from the element, like take out the element from the tuple. Okay, now let's understand about the dictionary, that how this dictionary works like. Okay, so let me recap. List part is done. Now let's understand about the dictionary. Okay, so in the dictionary, what are the things that we are supposed to do? Defining a dictionary, fetching the element from the dictionary, and then like removing the element from the dictionary, right? So this is how you define the dictionary. So let's say that if I am going to demo, so let me create a demo dictionary. Okay, and let me create a key value pair. Okay, so this is how my demo dictionary looks like, and this is very empty, right? So let me try to add it. So demo, and let me try to add something. So let me try to add the name, or let me try to add some other things. Let's say what should I, course. Okay, course is, let's say, ML or Python. Okay, then what are the other things should I user? Okay, so let's say user, and user should be Pratik. Okay, so this is how my dictionary looks like. Okay, so if I just going to print the demo, so this is how my dictionary looks like, right? So this is just a key value pair. So this is the first element and this is the second element. Similarly, this is how the another dictionary looks like. Okay, and if you want to print what are the key here? Name, age, and course, right? So just use the D1, which means the dictionary which is containing these elements. And if you want to like fetch only the key from this dictionary, so just type D1 dot operator and then the key method. Okay, so it is supposed to give you the list of key like name, age, courses. Similarly, what are the value here? Value associated with the key. So RN25 Python. So RN25 Python. And what is the D1 dot item? It is supposed to give you the key value pair, right? Returned in the list of tuples. Okay, and each tuple is containing the key and the associated value. Okay, and if you want to get some element from the list, so let's say that I have the list something at demo, right? So this is how my newly constructed dictionary, right? And if you want to just take demo.get, okay, and if you want to like get the user detail, you would able to get that. This is the user detail of the user key, and what is the user detail? Pratik. Okay, There is other way also, there is other way as well. So just use this demo and then user, that's it. So this will also do the same thing, right? Similarly, what is our d1 here? So d1 is my this dictionary, and if you want to get the detail of name, you will be able to get it. Detail of age, you will be able to get it, right? Now what is this pop? So pop is just like your set function. When you want to delete some element from the dictionary, just use the d1 dot pop and then specify that which key you want to delete, and this is how my d1 has been deleted. So let's say that this is my demo dictionary, and if I want to delete the course, so just write demo.pop and then your course name, right? So CORC, that's it, right? And my new demo will look something like this. Okay, so now only it containing the user and Pratik. Okay, so this is how the common dictionary operation. Now let's try to understand the new thing, which is the sets. Okay, sets. So in the set, we will be understanding about how do we define the set, how do we create a set operation, and other things, right? So this is how the set will looks like. Okay, so how do you create a set? So let me create a set here. So this is how you create the set. So let's say I give my set as some name. Okay, so some name like temporary. Okay, that's it. This is your set has been created. Okay, and now suppose if you want to like add something, so let's say 1 2 3, or let's say 1 and then 34 and then -1 -23 0, something like this. Okay, now there is a very unique quality of set is that it will implicitly try to short it. So if I just going to print temp, it will implicitly short everything. Okay, and what is set? Set should containing the same type of element. Okay, and if I just going to write this temp and then these other things like let's say 1 2 3, and if I just going to add the rn, so it has defined the set, but it will not going to like do these things, right? It will not going to sort it. Okay, so this is what I wanted to tell, and this is just a very implicit way of like defining the set. You can also convert the list, okay, by doing the type conversion, and then your list has been converted into the set, right? Now if you want to add or remove the element from the set, you can do that thing. So this is how your set looks like, and if you want to add some element inside the set, you can add it. If you want to discard the element inside the set, you can discard it. Okay, and I have already told you that set will do the automatic sorting. Okay, now let's try to apply the set operation. That how do you apply the set operation? So let's say that this is your first set and this is your second test, and if you want to take the union of first to the second set, now what you need to do? S1, your first set, you are taking the union, I mean like taking the union, right? A normal set operation, and then all these things 1 2 3 4, and then Aryan and Gautam, right? So these are the taking the union operation, right? Now let's say that this is my S1, right? And let's say that I have defined something as S4, the another set, and it has let's say 3 and Aryan. Okay, now if I want to take, so this is how my S1 looks like, right? And this is how my S4 looks like. Okay, so my S1 is containing 1 2 3 4, and my S4 is containing 3 and 4, right? Now let's try to take the intersection. Intersection means what? The common operation, right? So if I just going to do S1 dot let's say intersection, okay, with let's say S4, so what do I get? Just see, what do I get? What is the common here? 3, right? So I should get the 3 here. So I'm getting the 3. Okay, so in this way you can apply the union operation, the intersection operation, even the set difference operation. Okay, so you can just try to like do this difference. So what is my S1? S1 is containing 1 2 3 4. Okay, after taking the union, it is containing 1 2 3 4 Aryan and Gautam. And then if you want to take the difference with your S3, so by taking the difference, this is how your set difference looks like, right? Now let's try to understand the other things. So we have done with the set operation. Now let's do the conditioning operation, okay, to apply the condition. So what is the condition here? So condition is very simple. So let me tell you what is the if else condition, right? So let's say that you get some money, right? You get some money from your parents. So let's say money you get, right? So you get let's say $100. Okay, you get the $100 and you go and buy some let's say toy. Okay, and toy is costing around $120, and if you want to build a program whether you get the toy or not. Okay, so let's say that if let's say, so there is toy price, right? Toy price, let's say toy price is let's say $120. Okay, and so you want to build a code, like you want to build a simple code. Okay, so let's say which will going to tell you that whether the money that you got it from your parents from this money are you able to buy the toy or not. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're just going to apply the condition here. Okay, I mean the if condition, and let's say that if money that you got, right, if it is, let's say, greater than your toy price. Okay, if it is greater than your toy price, then what you're going to print, you will purchase the toy, right? You will purchase the toy. Or let's say if the money is not sufficient, then you're going to apply the else operation, and then you won't be able to purchase it, right? So guess what, what should be the output? So money, if it is greater than, so you won't be able to set. So this is going to execute, right? Because this condition has failed, that is why you won't be able to purchase it. Okay, so in this way you are trying to use this conditioning operation. So let's say your temporary variable is 32. If 32, like if temp is greater than 32, then this will going to print, and if it is not, then this is going to print. So let's say that if I keep as 20, then the first line will going to print. Okay, so this one, right? If 20 is greater than 30, of course it's not, so I think the second line is going to print. Let's say that 200. Okay, so 200 is greater than 30, yes, then it is going to print the first line. Okay, so this is your condition. Okay, you apply the condition here itself, right? Now let's try to understand the if else condition. So like the elif condition. Okay, this is your elif condition, right? What does this elif condition, which means that more than one if and else statement, which means that more than one condition. So it means that this is your marks threshold. Okay, and this is the marks that you acquired, and let's say if the acquired marks is greater than your threshold marks, then this is going to print. If not, then it will going to check the second condition. If not, then it is going to check the third condition. Okay, so let me use some other things. So let's say that you have got 20 marks. Okay, and your passing percentage is, let's say, 35. Okay, so of course this is not going to print. Okay, this is not going to print. Then it will going to check the second condition, whether marks it acquired 20, whether it is greater than 90. Of course it's not, so the third will going to print. Okay, let's see, the third is going to print, right? Better luck next time. Okay, now let's try to that suppose you have got the 100 marks, then the first condition is going to print, right? And let's say that if I increase the marks threshold as 50. Okay, and here I changed it to 40, let's say 45, simple. Okay, and if I going to give the 46 here, right? So which is going to print? The second one, right? The second one is going to print. Why? Because you have acquired the marks as 46. Whether 46 is greater than your marks threshold? No, right? So now it will come and execute this second condition. So what is the second condition? Whether 46 is greater than 45? Yes. So this condition is going to print. Okay, so this is how you do the conditioning operation in the Python by applying the if and else statement, right? Now let's try to understand about these things. Okay, loop. So what is actually the loop in the Python language, right? Let's hop into this part. So loop. So loop is very easy. So loop is means, let's say you define the loop. So what I mean to say is this is how you define the for loop. Okay, so you are actually iterating it one by one. So similarly, let's say if I'm going to add some other city, let's say Mumbai, right? So first the city will go to Bangalore, it will going to print it, then it will go to Patna, it will go to print it, it will go to Calcutta, it will going to print it, it will go to Mumbai, it will going to print it. Okay, so this is how the for loop is going to iterate. Now what is the range? Okay, what is the range here? So let's say let's apply some range. So let's say if I'm going to do the range operation, so it is supposed to give me the number range belonging from 0. So in actual it is, if you're going to print it, so it will going to say for I, let's say for I in, let's say, range, and if I'm going to print it some numbers, right? So what it will do is that it was supposed to give me 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, so when you are assigning the range as 5, it means that it is allocating the number from 0 1 2 3 and then 4, which means the 5 minus 1. Okay, this is how the index work, right? So this is how this for loop will work on the range, using the range, right? Then again, what is the break and continue statement? So break and continue statement helps us to, coming out. So if this condition is going to true, then it will going to come out of the loop. If the condition is not true, then it will going to execute the loop by using the continue operation. Okay, the same thing. Then what is this enumerate operation? So enumerate operation is supposed to give you it's supposed to return two things. The first thing is your index, and the second thing is your the value present in your list. Okay, and this is how the enumerate operation looks like. Okay, Now again, what is the while loop? So while loop, again the same thing. If you understood about the for loop, so inside the while loop, you just need to apply the condition here, and if this condition is true, okay, if the condition is true, then the while loop will keep on continuing. Okay, if the condition becomes false, then while loop will discontinue it, and then you are supposed to get the result like this. Okay, so let's say you have started at 0, okay, and you have set up the threshold as 10. Now you go, if 0 is greater, if 0 is less than 10, yes, so the while loop is true, and so that this will going to execute. Okay, then again you are going to increment the start as from 0 to 1. If 1 is less than 10, yes, so with this while loop is true, so this, the entire thing which is written under the while loop is going to execute. So this is going to print 1. Again 1 will going to increment, which means 2. So if 2 is less than 10, okay, then in this way the while loop will going to increment. Okay, now let's try to understand about the functions. Okay, so I am assuming that you have understood about the function theory as well, right? So this is how you define your functions. So let's say this is how your functions looks like. Okay, and then if you want to call some other function, you can do it, right? So let's say def, and then again greetings, right? And let me just going to call some return. You can also write the return as well. So, hello world, how are you? Right, so if I'm going to call the greetings, you are going to get the exact same thing, right? Earlier you were printing it, now you are returning it. Simple. Okay, so this is how you're supposed to define a function. So by using the def keyword, then this is your function name, and whatever the logics, you're writing it inside the function, right? Similarly, let's say that if you want to write a function of adding a two number, okay, so function, let's say addition, and let's say number 1, number 2, okay, and let's say sum is equals to, let's say number 1, number 2, and then you are going to return the sum, right? So that next time you are calling it, right? So addition, so this is the addition function, and then you are going to write 23, 45, and this is how you are supposed to get the addition. Okay, so this is how you write a function. Okay, so inside the function you pass some parameter. These are the argument or parameter. Inside this you are going to write your own logic, and whenever of anyone is calling it from anywhere, they just need to write the function name, pass some argument, and this is the argument that you need to define while defining your function, and this is how you're going to get. Okay, so again defining the function with the argument, so this is how you have defined. So I have defined the function with the name and the company. So this function is expecting that user is supposed to give the name as well as the company name, so that it could able to print the welcome message and it will try to return it. Okay, so if I'm just going to call the greeting function, I will be passing my name as well as the company name, and this is how my entire function will return, right? Similarly, this is just an addition function, and this is just a keyword argument function. It means that that it is only expecting to take the name, because the city and the age you have already giving this value while defining your function. So you are not expecting it from user that he or she will going to explicitly try to input these things. Okay, because these things you have already input these things into your function, right? So this is how you're supposed to get. Now suppose that if you have not inputted these things, so let me use the same function, right? Let me use the same function, and now let's say that I am expecting this city name to be given by the user. So I can just delete it, and now if I'm just going to call the intro, and if I just going to give the single one, it will throw me the error. Why? Because it is also expecting the city name, right? So city name, let's say Patna, and it is supposed to give me, right? In this way you are supposed to pass the keyword argument. Now what is this passing the args? So passing this hashtag args means what? That you can pass any number of argument here. Okay, I can pass rn, I can pass verifi, I can pass Patna, right? I can pass any number of argument here, and I will not going to get any error. Okay, so this is how it is expecting to see take a lot more number of argument, right? So yes, now let's try to understand about this exceptional handling part. So what is this exception handling? Just to handle out if you are getting any error. Okay, so you just need to use the two word, which is like the exceptional and the try and catch. Okay, so what I mean to say is that let me try to use some other things, right? So let me try to use some code, some inside the try. So let's say print, and intentionally I am just writing something. Okay, and this is the error, right? So what I need to do, I need to use the except. Okay, except, and what I will do, I will be using I will be catching that error, right? So that's it. So this is how my error has been catched, okay, by using the except, because these are the very wrong syntax, right? This is now how you define the print statement, right? You need to use the correct syntax in order to make this work, okay? So because these things are correct, that is why it has executed a try loop and it has not thrown me any exceptions. But let's say that if I just randomly put anything, right, and this is like the very bad syntax, right? So now what it will do is that it should supposed to throw me the error, right? So let's say, right, so it should supposed to throw me the error like have you forgotten any comma or something like that. So let's say this one, right? So this is how we are supposed to use this try and catch, okay? So let me use some other things. So let's say one second. So let me try to use this one, right? So let me use this one. So except and exception as E. So except and then exception as E, right? And then here the error is then comma and then E. So what it will do is that first of all, it will try to execute the try block. You can see that you cannot divide 100 by 0. Of course, this is an error, right? Now, what it will do is that because this is an error, so it will not directly throw you the error. It will go inside this except column and it will try to tell you that this error is a division by 0 error, okay? In this way, you try to do the try and catch, right? Similarly, multi-except, right? So multi-except means like if you are getting an error, so it will go and search that whether this error is belonging to this type. If not, then whether this error is belonging to this type, okay? This is how the multi-except is going to understand the nature of your error. Now what is this finally? Finally will anyway execute, okay? Like regardless of what you're writing in your try and except, finally will anyway is going to execute in these things, okay? So let's say that if I'm going to execute so let's say division, let me write this one, right? So exception as E, right? And let me delete this line and print hello world, right? So finally will anyway is going to execute, okay, regardless of whatever the things, whatever the error you're getting, okay? This is the like the significance of finally block, okay? So this is how you handle the exception in your by using the try and catch in a Python language, right? Now let's move back. So let's move forward again to your file input and output operation, okay? So we have covered this part. Now let's move forward into the file input and output operation, that how do you handle the file input and output thing, right? So again, how do you like read the file? So you are supposed to read the file like by using the write operation, which means that if the file has not created, so the write operation is going to create a new file with the name hello.txt, and this is the syntax like with open. Inside this you need to give the file name, you need to give some UTF-8, which means the English encoded languages, and these things has been written. So you will see that there is one file will be created here, which is like the text dot like hello.txt, right? So let me just go see hello.txt, okay? And what is present inside this hello.txt? Namaste Bangalore, okay? These things, these are the message has been present inside this hello.txt, right? Now if you want to, let's say, write something more, you can write it, and then this is how your next override, okay? It has override these things. And if you want to add something, you can actually add it by using the A, which means the append operation. So now the line number 3 has been added. If I'm going to write something like f dot write, and if I'm going to add something like hello, this is the newly added line, right? And then this. Now if I'm going to execute this thing, see this part, right? Hello, this is the newly added line. So earlier it was this one. Now I have overwrite the file, and then like I have added it using the append operation, right? So this is how you're going to read it, right? So let's say if you want to read the context, okay, read whatever things which are written inside the hello.txt, what you need to do, you just need to use the with open, the same syntax, specify the file name, and then for what purpose you are using this. So I am using it for read purpose, so I'm just using it by f.read, okay? F is the object of this the entire file, storing it, and then f.read is supposed to read everything inside the hello.txt and it's supposed to print it, okay? So these are the file that has been present, like these are the text that has been present in this file, right? So it has just read it and print it here, okay? So these are the normal file and input operation for writing, appending, overwriting, and then reading from the file, right? So we have understood about the file input and output operation, right? Now let's understand the another like top-notch topic from the Python, which is like classes and object. Okay, so let's understand this part as well, right? So now when it comes to classes and object, this is how you define any class. Okay, so this is how, let's say, you define a class called car, and then this is how the object looks like. Okay, let me create another class in front of you. Okay, so since all of you are learning, so let me create a class as student. Okay, class student, right? And after defining the class, what should I like, first of all, what should I give? So let's create a simple normal class. Okay, and then this is the student object. So let me create a student object as well. So student underscore object, right? And then simply student, I'm just calling the student class, and that's it, right? Nothing is there in my student object, so it is not going to like store anything, right? So if I just going to call it, right? So that's it. It is nothing printing anything. Now let's try to add something. Let's try to give some memory. Okay, so how do I give it? So let's try to give some memory. So let's say def, and then I will be using the instructor, like the constructor. Okay, and then let's say self. So these are just a syntax. You are going to get like learn everything. Okay, so let's say that I want to save the name of the student, the age of the student, and the courses in which the student is enrolled, right? So courses, or let's say the enrolled courses. Okay, enrolled courses, right? So enrolled course, course, right? Now let me specify that these are the variables which is associated with the student class itself, right? So what I need to do is that I just can call like self.name as name, right? And again self.age is equals to age, and then it should be the next line. So self.age equals to age, and then let's say self.enrolled course, right? Enrolled course is equals to the enrolled course. Okay, now let me try to create a simple object of that class. Okay, this is the object, right? And I'm calling these things. So let's say that I'm giving my name as Aryan. So let me store these things, right? So Aryan, then it's enrolled in Python. Now let me see that what data that I have stored. Okay, so from this object I can just name, right? So this is my name as Aryan. Now if I'm going to like see the age, you can see the age. If you're going to see the enrolled courses, I can see the enrolled courses as well, right? So this is how you have stored the information, right, in your class while creating your class. Okay, similarly you can store its other object as well. So let's say that there is a student object 2. Okay, and like store some other data. So student, and let's say Jyoti, and then she's, let's say 28. Okay, and she's learning, let's say Java. Okay, so this object has stored the information of Jyoti. Okay, so if I'm going to call the name, this is Jyoti. If I'm going to call the age, it has 28. If I'm going to call the enrolled courses, so now for the one single class, I can create a multiple object of storing the information, just like a normal database, right? This object is for storing the information of Aryan. This object is for storing the information of Jyoti. Okay, and both are belonging to the same student class. Okay, both are belonging to the same student class. This is how you define the classes. Okay, so again, let's move back. So let's store some data inside the class. So this is how you store your data. Okay, so let's say this is the car class where you are storing the car name and car price, right? And what is this self? It specifies that this information is associated with this car class. Okay, and this is how you like instantiated the object by giving some data inside this class. Okay, so that you can later able to call it. Okay, you can later able to call it. So this, let's say object 1 is like storing the BMW class, right? So let me create another object. So let me create another object. Let's say object 2. Okay, object 2, let me like store some new class or new Toyota. Okay, and then let's say it belongs to $3,000, something like that. And if I am going to call it, so object 2 is associated like storing the value of Toyota. That's it, right? So if I'm going to call the car name, okay, car underscore name, so it is supposed to give me Toyota. Okay, so object 1 is associated and saving the value of BMW car, and object 2 is associated with the car class itself, but it is storing the value of Toyota. So if I'm going to call the object 2 and if I see this variable car name, so it is supposed to give me Toyota. Okay, so in this way the classes and object makes our task easy. Okay, so for you define one single class, and then you can able to define the multiple object of it, okay, in order to store the data, okay, or like fetch the data, right? Now let's try to store some function inside the car. Okay, so you have understood these things. Now let's try to create one function. Okay, so by creating a function, just like define a normal function here by specifying the self. What does this self is going to tell? Self means that this entire function is associated with this car. Similarly, this function is supposed to give you the name of the stored value. Okay, and what is this self here? So this entire function is supposed to give you the like the associated with the car class. Okay, so this is how you define the car class, and similarly this is the object one that you have created. So apart from the value that you have stored, you have also written some function to do your task. Okay, so similarly, if I'm going to call the object one dot get name, so it is supposed to give me the car name. Okay, it is supposed to give me the car name. Why? Because these are the these are the functions that I have already stored. Okay, so if you're not very confident, let me create one more class in front of you so that you would able to get it. Okay, so again, let me create a student class. Okay, the same class that I have made it over here. Okay, the same thing. So let me use the copy paste, right? So this is the front class, and let me code it in front of you. Okay, this is the student class. Now let me try to add some numbers. So let's say that display. Okay, display, and then self, and let's say that I want to return some name of the student. Okay, so the name of the student enrolled in this course. So in the course, like what I'm supposed to use, let me use the formatted string. Okay, so in the course, what I'm supposed to use, self dot enrolled course, right? Enrolled course. So like this is one, right? So the name of the student enrolled in this course. So in this course, CURC course is, so I need to give the name of that person, right? So what is the name? So I just need to call the self dot name, and that's it, right? So this is going to display the name. So again, this displays function, you can also add some other function as well, like this. So let me try to add something like print function, simple function. Let's say print function. Okay, so and then let's try to return I am just checking. That's it. Okay, so these are the things that you have already defined. So this, these are the other two functions that I've created. Now let's create an object. So let's create an object one, okay, of let's say student. So student is Aryan. Okay, and let's create an object two of, let's say, some student, and student name is, let's say, Jyoti. Okay, let's create an object three as well for some student name as student, right? Student name as, let's say, Pranav. Okay, so Pranav is a student who is 20 years old, and he is enrolled in a course of C++. Okay, this is how I have stored the three student data in my different object of the same class, right? Now what I'm supposed to do is let me call it. Okay, so if I'm going to call the object one, okay, object one, which is the Aryan class, and let me call the display, I can able to easily call it. That's it. Object one, right? OB. See, I am able to call these things. So what is the object one? The name of the student enrolled in the Python course, and his name is Aryan. Okay, this function has been called associated with this object. Okay, similarly, object OB underscore two, object two, so it is going to display the result of Jyoti, right? So display, so it is supposed to give me the result of Jyoti, right? Similarly, object three, OB3, it is supposed to give me the result of Pranav, right? So OB3 dot let's say display, so it is supposed to give me the result of Pranav. Okay, similarly, let's call this function as well. How will you call? The same thing, right? So instead of display, you just need to call OB underscore one, which is object one, and then let's say print, right? So what is going to print? It is going to print I am just checking, the same thing. Okay, in this way you are supposed to do the classes and object, right? Now let's try to understand some other concept in classes and object, which is like the inheritance concept. Okay, so what is inheritance class, guys? Inheritance means like you want to inherit something, right? You want to inherit means you want to take some quality of some other class with your newly constructed class. Okay, so let's say that car was your earlier class, right? So this was your car class, right? So where is the car class? See, this is your car class, right? you have stored some value of, let's say, BMW, Toyota, and other things, right? Now you built some other class, let's say you have built some user class, and you have inherited the property of car class. Now what does that mean? It means that this is your car name and this is your car price, right? And this is the another car, so another class. Now you are inheriting the entire, let's say, the car name, the car price, the entire variable which you have defined in the previous class in your new class. Okay, so this is how you have defined these things. So let me going to call it. So if I'm going to calling like user, so object one, so ob underscore, let's say one dot, if I'm going to call the car name, right? What do you think? It is supposed to give me the BMW, but BMW I have stored it in the previous object, right? But now it is giving me this one. So this is the quality of inheritance, guys. Okay, that you can able to like inherit the previous defined variable into the new class variable, just like this. Okay, now let's move forward into the newly like the very important things, the pandas and the numpy library. Okay, these two libraries I will cover in the later part of the video as well, but for the sake of completion, so I have covered these things here also. Okay, so just watch this video in one go and you would able to get it. Okay, if you're not, again, so I will be coming up the pandas and numpy in the other later part of the video as well, so you will surely going to get it. Okay, now let's start it. So this is how using the pip command you are supposed to install the pandas and numpy library. So just using the import, so it will going to import all the libraries and its own functionalities which are present in these libraries that are like which these tools are offering. Okay, so how do you make? So let's create a simple data, a simple raw data, a key value pair. Okay, and let's create a data frame. So by using the pd means a short like the abbreviation of pandas. Okay, so pd dot data frame. So data frame is the pre-built library. Inside this you are passing a raw data like the simple this json based data, and then this is how your data frame looks like. Okay, similarly, if you want to save it, if you want to save the entire data into the csv file, just type this df. What is the df is my data frame here. Okay, so all these things has been saved here. So this is how this is how you get in your excel sheet, right? Now suppose that this is your csv file, and if you want to read something, that read the content inside it, so what you're supposed to do, just apply the command pd means the short form of pandas dot read csv. Okay, reading the csv file, and then you are supposed to specify the local location of your csv file. Okay, and then this is how your csv file looks like. Okay, so this is called your data frame. Okay, and now suppose if you want the entire data frame without index, so what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to read the same thing but by writing index column equals to 0. That's it. So this is how you get. Now let's look at the quick look at the head and tail. Okay, that what is this head? Head is supposed to fetch the top portion of your data. So let's say that if I do this head df dot head, df means what? Df means my data frame. Okay, this is how my data frame looks like, right? So df, right, this is how my data frame looks like. And what does this head is going to do? So if I df dot head, then it is supposed to give me the top two portion of my data. Okay, top two row of my data. Similarly, if I do this df dot tail, so let's say df is equals to so this is how my df looks like, and let's say df dot tail equals to, so it is supposed to give me the last portion, last two row of my data. Okay, this one, right? Now this is how your data frame looks like. Okay, and this, what is the data frame info? So data frame info is supposed to give you the information of each and every column. So these are the column and these are the row. Okay, so let's say that this is how your data looks like. So let me just read it again, right? And let me use this thing as df. Okay, this is how your data looks like. Now if you're supposed to run the df dot info is also a pre-built command, a pre-built function, sorry. So it's not a, so what it will supposed to do is that it is supposed to give you that whether every column is containing any null value or not. Okay, so and df dot describe is supposed to give you the statistical information of your data frame, right? Now if you want to like select the multiple columns, so this is how, let's say, a df data frame looks like. And if you want to select only the name column, so you can just select the name column as df by opening the correct the bracket. Okay, like the large bracket, and then you need to specify your column name. Or let's say that if I want city, okay, so city, you can able to fetch the city. If you want a department, right, department, you can able to fetch the department. Okay, and if you want, like, let's say more than one column, you can do by just writing the one or more list, and if you want department and name, you can able to get it. Okay, department and name is just wait. So just more than one column, right? So again, now what is this df? So again, name or age. If you want to fetch the name of age, name and age, you are supposed to get the name and age from the data frame. So this is how your data frame looks like, right? And you have just fetched more than one column by applying these things, right? Now what is this LOC? So LOC is supposed to give me the selective row. What does that mean? It means that this is how my df looks like, and if I'm supposed to apply the LOC, let's say df dot LOC, and let's say if I want the row number 1, I can just get the information of this row number 1. Okay, and let's say that if I want let's say the row number 0 and let's say 4 and then 5, I can able to get the 0 4 5. So in this way I would able to filter out the number of row from my data frame, right? Now let's apply the filtering operation. Filtering means, let's say, some logic. So let's say that df, so this is how my df looks like. Okay, and let's say that if I ask you that can you able to filter out the age, so can you able to filter out the row of the person who is belonging in the age category of, let's say, their age is greater than 20 to 25. Okay, so can you do that? Yes. So df. Okay, and inside this df, what you need to do, you need to use the age, and inside this age, what you're supposed to do, so you need to apply these things, right? So let me just go and apply this time. So df and then df of age. If the age is, let's say, greater than 25, I'm supposed to print it. That's it, right? See, so this is my exact data frame. Now what I have done is that inside this I have just applied the condition. Okay, so I have just applied the condition where which person has the age greater than 25. Rahul has the age greater than 25 and Vikram has the age greater than 25. So in this way you are supposed to extract the number of row from your data frame based on this conditioning. Okay, you can apply so many other conditioning as well. Let's say that if I want so this is how my data frame looks like, and if I want the person whose salary is, let's say, greater than 80,000. Okay, so what I need to do again, this is how your df looks like. Df, then inside this you write your condition. So df and then salary, right? Salary, and if it is greater than or equal to, let's say this one, right? 1, right? So this is how you are supposed to get all these salary who are greater, let's say, greater than 80. So these were the persons who has the salary greater than 80,000, right? So in this way you are supposed to fetch the number of rows based on applying the condition in your data frame. Just remember that you just open the big braces, like the big parenthesis, right? And inside this you write the condition. Okay, in order to write the condition, just go to that salary. So how will I go to that salary? Again, by selecting df.salary and then just apply whatever condition you want to apply. That's it, right? So this is how your df looks like, and this is just the age, the person who is having an age greater than 20 and other things, right? Now let's try to understand the fill and drop. Okay, so which means that if your df, now your, let's say, df is containing this, right? And it actually contains so many this null value, right? This is how your null value, and you don't want your null value to be present, right? So now what you're going to do, so this is how your df looks like, and you want to fill the null value by finding out the median of the entire column. So let's say my salary is containing any null value. Is it containing? Yes, the row number 5 is containing the null value. So I will be replacing this null value by taking the average of entire thing. Okay, so what I am going to do is that df.fillNA. What is this fillNA? Which means filling the null value. Where I am filling the null value? So I will go inside my salary. So I will open the normal dictionary. Inside this dictionary, I will specify that I want the salary column, wherever it finds the null value, I want it to get replaced by taking the median of the entire salary. Okay, so if I'm just going to do this, so if I'm just going to execute this command, and if I just going to print it, you will see that my null value has been filled. So this one, right? So as you can see that my null value has been removed and replaced by taking the median. Okay, so just remember these things. Okay, and anyway, you can ask the AI or do the chat GPT and find out the other things. I'm just like making you aware about the patterns that you should supposed to know in this pandas library, right? Then again, so this is, let's say, the another data frame. Okay, so this is again in the, it's very raw data, it's in JSON format. Okay, and let's create a data frame. So again, df is equals to pt.data frame, and you pass this data here. So what it will do is that name is supposed to be one column, and it is containing these many number of the elements in that column. Age is a column, city is a column, salary is a column. So these things are column, right? And you want to like convert these things into an entire row and column data frame. So that is why you are just using the df.data frame, and this is how your data frame looks like. Okay, just like your normal CSV file or Excel file, right? Now again, here in the salary also you are getting the null value, right? So how will you replace the null value? Again, do the same thing, df. So this is how your df looks like, this is how your data frame looks like. Dot fill na. So fill na means what? Fill na means you are supposed to fill the null value. So fill na is a pre-built function. So inside this fill na, just specify, I mean just open the like middle parenthesis in a key and dictionary format, and just specify that which column you want your null value to get replaced. So let's say the salary. So salary column, you want your null value to get replaced. Now, if your null value to get replaced by what? Okay, by taking the mean, or like by taking the median of entire thing. Okay, let's say that I want to replace it by, let's say I want to replace this by taking the maximum value. That's it. So can I do that thing? So now it has, instead of like replacing the entire thing by taking the average, I have just replaced the NaN value by taking the maximum value. It means that I will go in my salary, like salary column. I will see that in my salary column, which is the value has the maximum salary. So let's say I have the maximum salary around 160, right? So 160 is my maximum salary. So I will be replacing my NaN value. I will be replacing my NaN value with the maximum salary just by using this command. And let's say if you want to replace it with the minimum, just write min. That's it, right? So you are supposed to get so many things. Just go and try to use these things. So pandas, let's say libraries. Okay, pandas library documentation. If you go, you are supposed to get so many other things here. Okay, you just need to read it. You read the user guide and you are supposed to get everything. Okay, categorical label and other things, right? So you don't need to like read everything, just read whatever is necessary, and that is what I'm telling to you. That's it, right? Again, so let's understand if it containing any like null value. So you can just try to use the drop na, which means drop null value. If any of this column is containing any null value, you are using this subset. So subset is a keyword where it will going to check that which of this column is containing any null value. It is supposed to drop that row, and this is how you are supposed to get the final result. Okay, so this is how your df looks like, right? And after dropping, this is how it looks like, right? Now let's try to like use some other things. So if you want to drop a column, so let's say that this is where my df looks like, and if I want to drop a column, let's say experience and then performance, so I don't want these two columns. So what I need to do, I can just call df.drop. It means that I will be dropping, then inside this just write columns equals to, then if you want to like remove the single column, just specify the single column length. And let's say that if you want to, let's say, delete the one or more column, just specify and just write it into the list so that you would able to delete it. Okay, so let's say that I want to delete the department as well, so I can just write the department, and yeah, so this is how my column has been deleted. So now it has name, age, city, salary, name, age, city, salary, right? So yeah, so this is how your df looks like. And what is the group by? So group by means that grouping the elements based on conditions, right? So what does this group by means is that, let's say that if I ask you that can you group department wise, okay, by taking the mean salary, it means that I need to group department wise, let's say data science. So I need to group the data science in a one single row by taking the average of their salary, okay, or by taking the mean of their salary. Okay, so I can do that thing. But how will I do that thing? Simple, very simple. Df, this is my data frame, just call df dot group by, which means that I am going to apply this group by operation on this data frame. Okay, and which column? So let's say I need to do the group by operation of the department. So this is how my department column looks like. And on what condition I am going to do the group by operation, where my salary, I am taking the mean of the salary. Okay, so what I going to do is that it will first check in this data frame, it will go into my department column, it will going to group each and every column based on the department name with its salary, as by taking the average salary. Simple. Okay, so this is the entire thing of your pandas. Like this is, I think, the good enough concepts of your pandas library, right? And anyway, you can do the chat gpt by yourself and learn more about pandas. Okay, you would able to get so many things in pandas. Okay, so now let's try to understand this thing. Now let's try to understand the NumPy. Okay, so NumPy is also the another very important libraries, just like pandas. Okay, so this is how you want to create an array. So just create np.array. So np.array is a command, and inside this you are supposed to write like the list of array element, and you're supposed to get this. Similarly, if you want to create a 2D array, you can able to create it, right? Then similarly, let's say that if you want your array to, let's say, having np dot zeros, it means that it is containing 3 row and 4 column, and all should be 0. So all these things will be present in your zeros, right? So this is your zeros. So similarly, if I go just going to write these things, so print zeros, so this is how your zeros looks like. So zeros, right? So right, so this is like the zero matrices of 3 cross 4, which means it has 3 row and it has 4 column, right? Similarly, the 2 row and 5 column, and then the other things, right? So you can also learn about these things. I'm not telling because you would able to like confuse it, right? That's why I'm just reshipping everything, okay, so that you can able to understand that these things exist. That's it. Okay, no need to learn anything, no need to by heart anything, even a single line of a code. Okay, you will going to get a lot more things in the coming lectures. Okay, so like by the end of this entire series, you will be a perfect expert. Okay, I will keep on repeating these same things, okay, which are very very necessary, so that you would able to grasp each and every topic. Okay, now what is this? So this is like the shape, for finding out the shape of let's say array, and then this is the resize operation, and then these are the aggregation method, these are the random method, and other things. Okay, so these things will be needed when I come into the later part of the lectures. So again, this is the v stack and h stack. Okay, these things are not needed actually, right? In the upcoming lectures, so I'm just skipping this part. But let's understand that whatever the things that I have already told you in pandas, as well as the few topics of the numpy, that is more than enough in order to forward your journey towards your machine learning career. Okay, by the time we reach at the very last lecture, you would able to get each and every part significantly in detail. Okay, so yeah, thank you for attending this lecture, and then let's move forward to our next set of course. Thank you all.